Greetings, this is Andrew Baker with Brainwave Consulting Company. Let's talk about zero trust. Zero trust. That's a common buzzword, or at least a new buzzword in information security, cybersecurity. And what does it mean? What does it mean, zero trust? Well, the idea in zero trust is that your infrastructure cannot take for granted that it knows who people are and that they're the right people before it has fully authenticated them, before all of the processing has occurred, right? So when someone comes to your door, when someone comes to your home and you look out the window, if you know who they are, you open the door to speak to them. If they're dressed in the right uniform, if they have the right face, if you recognize them, you identify them. If you're not sure who they are, you will, inquire who they are and try to validate that in some way. And then you'll let them in, or you'll speak to them, or whatever else is going to happen in that transaction. But anyone can walk up to your door, right? You may know the people that come to your door. You may not know the people that come to your door, but they can get to your door. And in the physical realm, there are certain risks that poses. But in the cyber realm, a lot of bad things can happen with people who can get to your door, because they can get to your door any time of the day or the night. And while they're at your door, no one else can necessarily see them, right? On your block, there are people who can see in the daytime if someone has come to your door. There may be cameras all the way around, etc. But in the cyber realm, there's no monitoring if you aren't doing it. That's you can't assume that any monitoring is going on that's going to be beneficial to you unless you're the one doing it. So the idea is, when you have a VPN, or virtual private network, or you have some sort of remote access where people are coming to your environment and logging in, your employees, what zero trust says is we need a way to keep people away from our infrastructure entirely until we're sure we know who it is and what they're supposed to be able to do. And so you'll see a lot of technologies around the idea of zero trust, and it's basically a way of saying, don't even let this person get to my door until I know who they are, and that I validate them, right? So zero trust is kind of the HOA, right? So you live in a gated community in zero trust, and no one gets to your door. They've got to go to the guard gate, and the guard gate will call in and say, Mary, there is Joe who says he's here to see you. And Mary will say, I wasn't expecting Joe. So Joe doesn't get in. Or Mary says, oh, yes, yes, please let them come in, and then they can get through. That's what zero trust does. It takes you away from having your home where anyone can just walk right up to it, and you have to do the validation, and you have to worry about whether they're being truthful or not. Or instead, it puts an HOA kind of a construct where there's a guard gate and a central point where everyone has to go through, and everyone is funneled through. They can't get to you until they've passed that location, and that location is going to ask them for all kinds of ID to validate who they say they are and who they say they're going to meet. And if they don't pass muster, they'll be sent back on their way without having gotten to your door. Zero trust is a big thing, and you're going to see a lot more of it now. And then, generally speaking, zero trust requires that you have additional infrastructure, or that you leverage somebody else's infrastructure, right? It's if someone is coming to your door for you to do all that validation before they get into your house, it's not really zero trust, right? They still got to your door. If they have to go through a different place, someone else's place, or another place that you have that isn't your house, then that fits the paradigm a little bit better. So you'll be seeing a lot of things on zero trust, and you need to give them some consideration, because they help to mitigate the risks of people getting to your door and maybe being able to bypass your first level of security. Whereas if they bypass the first level of security at the guard gate, they're not going to get as far and cause as much damage to you. Thanks for your time. I'll speak to you later.